Welcome back to our weekly Clubhouse stream. I'm Sirli Valge, COO at Velas, and on behalf of our team, welcome to the Velas Weekly Blockchain Digest. As always, I am joined by my co-host Delphine Forma, who is the Chief Compliance Officer at DAL, board member of the Open WASP Association, and a prominent voice in the global blockchain ecosystem. Thank you for joining, Delphine. I'm extremely excited by our topic and special guest tonight. As being active in crypto space myself, little over 4 years, there have been some days I'm thinking, that's it, I quit. I would be thinking, is it actually worth the nerves and hassle after continuous confrontation of scammers where it didn't end up very fortunate? And I can say I learned the hard way, as there were some financial losses, and these experiences, of course, provided me with a very thick fraud filter and with the principle to trust no one in the crypto space, and also to follow a bunch of verification steps when it comes to exchange and marketing partnerships and so on. I could name so many examples and probably write a book about it, but let's hear more about it today from our guest, Markus Mächler, who is a lead cryptocurrency investigator at Zurich Cantonal Police Cybercrime Department. And he is also a cryptocurrency enthusiast himself and a nature lover. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Well, thank you, Shirley and Markus. As Shirley said, we are so excited to have you. For those of you who didn't know, we organized an event around crypto crime with Markus and his team. It was back in January 2020, and Markus is just amazing. Give some really cool examples. I'm super excited. So Markus, as a specialist in crypto crime investigation, will you be able to tell us more about what are the latest trends to this regard? And what are criminals up to those days? And do you have any cool examples? I'm sure you do. So please, Markus.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the introduction as well. Yeah, where to start? First of all, I want to say the feeling, Shirley, I share it. That's it, I quit. I'm thinking that on a monthly basis, probably, because it doesn't stop.
Oh, God.
Well, important to say in the beginning is that I'm here as a private person. So all the opinions you hear here are my personal opinions, but nonetheless, my work puts me in a unique position. So I have inside knowledge of what is going on and especially what is going wrong at the moment. And I'm very happy to share so people are aware about those things. So what's hot at the moment? So yeah, the latest course rallies play an important role in that, at least for those types of crimes that are facilitated by high prices. Those are usually the ones where the criminals awaken greed in the victims because people tend to have a lot of FOMO during course rallies. And yeah, the criminals, they shamelessly exploit that. This results in all kinds of scams, actually a great number of scams at the moment, and they're even combined with relatively high amounts of money lost per case. So it's mostly investment scams at the moment, but also in combination with romance scams. So it's because people are feeling lonelier than ever during the pandemic, and therefore internet love is more appealing than before. And the criminals tend to combine romance with investment scams because it's a lot more credible if you get to know the latest investment tip by someone we love. And then the victims get ripped off twice. And that's not the end of it, because after the investment scams, they even provide you with services that claim to help you get your lost money back. So as you can imagine, you get ripped off again, so 3 times. But there's actually a pretty simple rule for that. And it's just, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Markus. It's actually really true. I think it's a fair point. But I feel it's a shame, that people are abusing of the loneliness of other people. Romance scam is just so bad, right? It's just you're just really, come on, people. But well,
and I think
they play with the human emotions.
Yes, exactly.
I think the price course. the price rally brings on more and more beginners who just heard about it, and then they get into products which are decentralized. And I think this is very dangerous because they haven't done their homework, and then it's extremely easy with decentralized products to be victims of scammers. It's much easier than with centralized products, because I know because Velas products are all decentralized, and there are cases where people ask for help in our community group, and the scammers, they exactly observe who is in need of help, who might seem beginner, and then they approach them, impersonate a team member. And this is where these people share their seed phrases, like they give everything, and they even give them this, even send them funds to help to let the scammers help them out, and this is like, that's it.
Yeah, very true, very true. It's much easier to scam a beginner than someone who knows.
Yeah, so
who knows how you have to what you have to watch out for. Yeah.
Yeah, so for beginners, it's definitely better to start with centralized services because they're more secured.
Yeah, and do your own research in the beginning. Don't rush it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like crypto is just like people just think like they can invest in anything, but I mean, like investing in crypto and crypto projects is the same as investing in traditional financial product, right? You first make your research and and with crypto, I think we should even do more research because it's more, it's more volatile as there's not much regulation around it. So. But apart from the scam, Markus, I'm a financial crime specialist. So is there anything else that's a little bit more fancy, some drug trafficking, money laundering scheme using crypto, something like that at the moment?
Yeah, money laundering is pretty much everywhere. And there's also lots of other stuff. I mean, we're still fighting with fake sextortions. So I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's about email campaigns where the criminals download passwords from the data leaks you find all over the internet. And then they use them to send around emails claiming you have been on a porn site, which of course is true for a lot of people. And then they further say that they infected your computer, and then they recorded you masturbating, which is also true for a lot of people. And then they also claim to know your passwords, which is of course true because they sent you one of your passwords. And then, they say they are going to publish the videos and pictures on social media. And of course, it's all a lie. And if anyone hearing here, please don't pay. And then there's also a lot of ransomware attacks. I mean, they don't have a lot of crypto relation on their own, but the ransom, it is usually demanded in cryptocurrency as well. And as you can imagine, those funds, they get laundered in the process then. So there's money laundering there for sure. And then you ask for something more fancy. What we've seen lately is more fake apps. So you download a wallet app or something like that from the Google Play Store, and then it asks you to input your seed, and then your coins are gone. So the bottom line there.
These are available even on official Apple Store and Google Play Store.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
This is wow. I've not heard about it because I know there are a lot of websites which look exactly authentic to the original wallet website, and then they have the option to enter your seed phrase, and then it goes to scammers. But I mean, we have a wallet which is like online, offline, and mobile. So how can we, as official wallet provider, protect ourselves?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Yeah. Usually you think that you're safe when you download from the original app store of your ecosystem, and I mean that's usually true. I mean it's a lot more secure than if you just download something of the internet, which screams scam very, very loudly. But I mean there's sometimes, I mean especially on the Google App Store, they don't look at the apps
their due diligence is
in
not
depth
so
like they do on the
strict,
iOS store, for example. And maybe there's apps that sound somewhat similar to the official app, but it's not quite the same.
Okay, because I know that there have pretty strict like verification procedure to get your app out there, but I guess there are ways.
There are
around it.
always loopholes, and unfortunately, yes. But I mean, I also don't see any reason to input your seed in a mobile app. I mean, just make a new wallet there and leave your major funds where you have them.
Well, it's in certain cases it is necessary to if you want to restore an existing wallet, you have to put your seed phrase in. But actually, it's a good point. You can just
Yeah,
create
but
a
then
new
you
one.
don't use a mobile app, and then you use your cold wallet desktop app, something like Electrum or something like that. So you're safer there. I wouldn't do that on a mobile phone, and especially not on some shiny new mobile app I haven't heard of yet. So just use the old ones that have been around for years and download them from the sources where you can check that are legitimate, and then you should be fine.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. I would be curious, you give us like a few examples of things that are going on in the market. I mean, what would you say to the victim of crypto scam or fraud or crime? Why is the thing that they should do? Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say tomorrow I'm victim from a romance scam. So some guy's trying to impersonate himself and he says someone else, and then I'm stupid and I fall in love with the guy, and then he asks me to send him Bitcoin, and I'm like, here you go, here you take all my Bitcoin. So what should we do in this kind of case?
I mean, usually it doesn't start with Bitcoin. It starts with other things to gain your trust. For example, I've seen cases where they provide you with the e-banking logging of their fiat accounts. I mean, of course, it's all fake, but it looks very legitimate. They claim something like, yeah, I'm here and there, and I have internet problems, and I cannot access my accounts. Can you please log in and make a payment for me? And then the victims, they log in and they find like $2 million in fiat on there, and of course, then yeah, trust is much more easy, and then it goes on like, oh, now my account got blocked because you accessed it from Switzerland, and my bank, which is in, so let's say, Scotland, realized that there was an access from outside, and now my account is blocked and I have problems. I can only do the payment in Bitcoin. Can you please go and to the next Bitcoin ATM and buy 5,000 Swiss francs in Bitcoin or something like that and send them to me?
And the thing is, like, let's say you're not stupid enough and you don't send the money, and then you will go to the police and report it. Maybe, I don't know, using an online form or going to your local police. But you're on your side of the police. Let's say, I haven't sent any money, but still I noticed that this guy is a scammer and he's trying to scam people and get money out of it. And I will come to you, to the police, and tell you that, and give you some screenshot and stuff like that. Will you do something, or will you just not do anything?
I mean, what we can do there, of course, is we try to block all the accounts they're using, and other than that, there's not much more to do if there hasn't been any damage done yet, because we have so many other cases where you have to use your resources much more wisely.
Yeah, I understand. So you won't try to like send him a text and tell him that you're cybercrime police and then you're going to arrest him or something like that, right?
They're not scared of us.
Oh, that's a shame.
Actually, I'm interested in how many cases such like, let's say you catch the scammer on exchange, their exchange account will be blocked initially, then this victim reports to you. In such cases, do people get their funds back?
Yeah, I mean, if you manage to get the funds blocked, then of course, but usually they don't go and report it just when it happened, because they are embarrassed and they wait a few weeks, and then of course the money is gone. But if you manage to block it, you can get it back. Yeah.
Okay,
that's giving hope.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it depends on what exchange it is on. It has to be some exchange that is compliant with the rules. But I mean, more and more of them are doing so. So it's getting easier for us actually.
That's good. That's a good news. So what would you require from me if I go to the police station? What kind of information would you need a victim to give us in order to start an investigation?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just as much evidence as you can bring with you, of course, about identifiers of the people that talk to you, email addresses and account names, things like that. Then, of course, if you lose coins, then you have to prepare to prove your actual ownership of the wallet they went missing from. And also you have to be very specific about which addresses belong to you and which belong to the criminals, and what transactions from your wallet were now fraudulent or not. Because if you don't manage to do that, then it's just hard to investigate if you don't know which is bad and which is good.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you say you will need to prove ownership, like, how would I do that? Let's say, I mean, I know how to do that, but I'm a complete beginner, I'm Vicky on the scan, and you're like, prove me your ownership on the first wallet. And I'm like, how do I do that?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you come to report to the Zurich Cantonal Police, I mean, you can bring pretty much anything. I mean, the easiest thing to do is if you lost your money from your wallet, then you probably don't want to use it any longer anymore. So if it's already empty, you can simply hand over the seed, and then I can go and check for myself, can restore it and see all the transactions. Or if it's hard for you to find your seed, you can also demonstrate your ability to access the wallet to me. You could sign a message with the private key, but probably as a beginner, you wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but the seed one and the login one are probably the easiest ones. But that's just one part of the story. So that just proves that you can access the wallet. You have to additionally prove that you also had the right to access that wallet. So meaning that you acquired those coins rightfully. So you would have to provide a full paper trail where you just prove that you also bought these coins or mined these coins or whatever you did.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for this insight. It's very useful,
Yes,
for
thank
our
you.
listener. If you have any problem, you know what to do.
All right, Markus, let's talk about crypto. And as a weekly tradition, we speculate with each new guest about the price forecast by end of 2021. Currently, with Bitcoin continuously trying to take the $60,000 mark in the past weeks, are you a happy man, or are you more into altcoins?
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm happy. I always try to stay happy regardless of the Bitcoin price. And at this point, I still think it unwise to have more crypto that you could afford to lose. But in the long run, I'm bullish. I mean, I'm a crypto enthusiast, and I think that if you believe in the system of cryptocurrencies, then fiat exchange rate should stop to play such an important role. It shouldn't matter to you how many dollars or Swiss francs you would get for a Bitcoin. And also, as I said in the beginning, more than happy. The prices right now just make me busy.
And it will go busier and busier.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. Like for me, I do think, like, I haven't changed my stance. I'm do think that before the end of the year, we're gonna reach the 100K, right, Charlie? This is my guess.
That's
Yeah, just
the
PayPal
forecast.
news. I mean, the prices are going up probably,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, every day there is like some news. Like I think today there was an article with Goldman Sachs trying to provide crypto services to their very wealthy clients. Like every day there is something new that
Very
is
bullish
driving.
every day.
Yeah, yeah.
So actually, I came across ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood's most recent statements about Bitcoin, and her quote reads, "1 trillion market cap is nothing compared to where this will ultimately be." And do you think similarly to Cathie that Bitcoin's $1 trillion valuation is nowhere close to where it might be in the near future?
Yeah, well, I don't have my crystal ball with me at the moment, but yeah, my stomach tells me it should be true. I just say fiat money printing machine and brrr.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with that. I think there is still a significant growth potential, and I do think it's just the beginning of the road towards the mass adoption, and this is going to be quite a big market in the next few years.
Let's see if anyone from our audience would be interested in talking about the previously mentioned topics. You're all welcome to weigh in and raise your hand, and I will give you a speaking right. So anyone in the audience will feel free anytime to raise your hand. Right now, no one is raising their hand, so Delphine, you can go on.
Yeah, I mean, so there's something I wanted to talk about. I recently came across an essay by a guy called David Hoffman called The Digital Culture Revolution, which I find quite spot on. There is, you can listen to a summary of that from, it's a podcast on CoinDesk, and it was on Sunday. And I would also recommend you guys to have a read through it. I find it really interesting. But basically, this guy, David Hoffman, explains that younger generation, and especially Millennium and Generation Z, they do not recognize themselves in current institutions. They feel helpless with everything that is happening. They are not positive at all towards the future and about what is their future in this society. And they have to make huge compromise, like living with their parents who are more than 30, that our previous generation were not making. And what he's saying is that the vibrant crypto culture is actually bringing a solution to that, because it enables individuals to create and to move forward and be creative in a different form of environment and create their own culture rather than just working. And I find this point really interesting. It's a bit cheesy, but when I listened to it, it really touched me. I was like, yeah, this is so true. You're so right. So what is your opinion, Shirley and Marcus, on that?
Yeah, I think there is truth in almost everything these points touch upon. And it's quite mesmerizing to imagine where this industry will go, how it will develop. And I believe that we are just beginning to understand the true potential of DeFi, for example. And existing society structures, of course, are there to protect their existing methods of operations, but this doesn't mean that the disruption is not going to happen. So we already actually see it's happening all over the world, and we might see the largest shift in the wealth distribution this world has ever known. Markus, what do you think?
Yeah, those are all interesting perspectives. I mean, I personally don't share this inherently negative view of the status quo. There sure is room for massive improvement, more equal opportunities, for example. And I'm also very excited about what we can all do with the new technological possibilities at hand. For example, NFTs. I probably wouldn't have ever thought about myself. And now it's already starting to be normal, and people find such cool and creative ways to use it. So I'm really excited what they do with all the tools they get.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. I'm super excited by this space. I think we talked about NFT a few weeks ago, and we always talk about NFTs during our chat recently. I mean, the potential is just so big. There's so many different things you can do, and it all goes with also this situation where we're going to go more digital and really trying to empower individuals with DeFi, as you mentioned, Shirley. I also come across another interesting articles. There was a few things to read this week. My God, I've been busy. And this article was talking about the way industry is being shaped by non-corporate folks and non-financial people. And in fact, in this article from Condes, I talk about all the big wins in crypto are going to come from the punks, the hippies, the contrarians, all those people, and also from the geek. Like if you want to, they were saying like if you want to find something like a little diamond within the crypto industry, follow what the geeks are doing and do not follow what big corporates are doing. And also, there is like the DAO, Distributed Autonomous Organization, all sorts of liquidity pools and other interesting developments in the DeFi space, which is like so cool and crazy what is happening there. And all points toward a peculiar future for crypto and our society in general. What do you think about all those new developments, Markus?
Yeah, it goes a bit in the same direction as the last one. It feels a bit like the wild west at the moment. And like with any new technology, I think the ones believing in it are probably not your standard corporate person, but rather the nerds. And I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way, because I consider myself to be a nerd as well. And I'm wondering if we're not already past the first mover phase, or at least at the end of it. What do you think?
You think we will already be at the end of a phase and starting a new one?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean the big institutions are getting in the field,
Yeah.
and I mean it's starting to change a bit.
I mean, me and Delphine are in this space like full-time working for last 4 years or so. So we're the wrong people to ask from, because we're just living in this bubble, and for us it's already like super established. It's only going on.
Yeah, it's just like keeping growing and we see it like going mainstream, right? It's just so cool. Like some startups that were happening like 2 years ago, we were like super underground, and now it's like all in the open. It's just like really cool to see it going that way. But there is actually a lot of other stuff going on that are still a little bit underground, right? So let's see what's going to happen. I'm very excited about all that, as usual.
Yeah. In other news, Elon Musk has recently announced that you can buy Tesla with your Bitcoins, which is amazing, no? But there are two sides. This is the next step in mass adoption. It's good, but they have so-called lemon laws in US. So in short, if your $50,000 Tesla is a dude and your state's lemon law entitles you to a refund or buyback, Tesla says it will pay you back in one of the two ways. So it will either return the exact amount of Bitcoins from the time of purchase, or it will pay back the $50,000 in cash, so to say. So it reserves the right to choose which way they refund. Is it Bitcoin or dollars? Delphine, Markus, would you buy a Tesla with your Bitcoin?
Of course, no, Shari. This is just a complete rip-off, when we chatted about this lemon law. So now I went to make some research from a legal point of view, and then I was looking at what Tesla was saying. I was like, no, thank you. I am not gonna buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, right? But maybe, you know what? Maybe I will buy Elon Musk NFTs, And, he recently tweeted that don't DeFi. Curious to see what will happen there. I mean, like, Elon will surprising me every day, He's just more crazy and crazy on that space. So
Markus, what's your opinion?
I think it sounds like a pretty good deal, at least for Tesla. So I'm with Delphine here. I say no, thank you.
Same. But it's a very clever move from Tesla. I see what they're doing there.
Yeah, and I don't think people will actually really read through the term of condition of paying with Bitcoin, right? So
for sure, it's in a super small font. Somewhere in the.
Of course, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Okay, I really want to hear, Markus, your opinion on the next piece of news. So, Chain Analysis raises $100 million, underscoring surging demand for blockchain surveillance. The compliance-minded crypto data firm is now valued at $2 billion after a Series D raise from Paradigm, Ribbit, and others. Markus, what are your thoughts on this?
So yeah, that's really, really huge. And I would say that the very, very generous funding shows basically two things. First, the combination of the technology we have and AML and KYC we have in place, it seems to generate a market need for such tracing solutions. That's the first thing. And yeah, the second thing, Chainalysis seems to be doing a pretty good job.
Yes, indeed, I agree with you, Markus. I mean, like, as you know, a compliance officer, I've been using Chainalysis in the past. I've actually helped them to build up the tools. So I think they are doing a great job, but also they have a really good product. The only problem is that it's in the US, so that's not so cool from a compliance point of view when you have an exchange in Switzerland. But also, I mean, like, they're raising so much money because it's a very, very useful tool from a compliance point of view, because it will allow you to screen all your transaction, and with great transaction, with great wallet, everything is transparent, so you can see the full flow of the fund on the blockchain. It's amazing from a compliance point of view. Crypto is the best invention ever. You can see everything. And Chainalysis has other blockchain investigation tool. What they do is they allow you, they will name cluster of address. So instead of just seeing like where the funds are coming and where they are going, you might also see that, oh, okay, you won't have to use like a blockchain explorer for each transaction. You will see, oh, it's coming from exchange A and it's going to exchange B. Or, oh my God, this is coming from a ransomware, or this is coming from a darknet marketplace. So it's from a compliance point of view. Like, I do not understand why all crypto business are not using that. This is awesome. I really like it. So I see there's going to be a lot of positive development on that side. You know, this time, like, people really find, like, I mean, like, the possibilities using this tool are just amazing. So it brings me to, you guys know, my favorite topic, the regulation news of the week.
Yay!
I know you're excited, Charlie. You love it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we had a couple of ones this week. I was actually busy. The regulators have been busy. But the first one was there is a civil liberties group called Calls on FinCEN's crypto wallet rule. They say it's unconstitutional. So the non-profit organization filed comments on Monday, objecting to a rule by FinCEN, claiming it would present a radical extension of financial surveillance of innocent Americans. So I think they go a bit far, but I would agree with them because basically it's a rule that FinCEN has tried to suggest end of last year. They tried to pass it and give like a very little time to crypto business to contest it, and then obviously they give it more time because it was not constitutional from this point of view. But it will be reporting crypto transaction to the regulator, reporting everything. And as we have seen in the past, you know, I mean, FinCEN database is not very secure. I think there had been like a big data leak on that, so not so good. And it's nice that, you know, there is actually organizations that are contesting it so loudly. I think it's pretty cool. Next one on India, you know, guys. I mean,
Weekly Indian news of
Yeah.
banning crypto.
So it's keeping going, you know. We always have something going on there. So it
How
seems
is it
that,
this time?
and I'm not sure you were waiting for it, right?
Oh, yeah. Or Nigeria. But this week we don't have anything from Nigeria. So what are the Indians doing again?
So apparently the millennials, so again, this is about the millennium generation, it's a fancy topic today. They seem to be very, very interested in Bitcoin, and they keep wants to buy it. But, you know, in India, they want to have a crypto ban, right? So this is kind of like the regulator saying like, oh, we don't want to have any crypto, but the younger generation are still excited about it and are still buying it, which is, I think, quite good. Another one, we have the US government with suing a decentralized content platform called LBRY over 11 million in token sales. So the Security Commission says that the LBRY sold unregistered security, where the classic US, they do that once in a while. They are quite active in looking at projects. So be careful if you do anything in the US. By the way, I'm not providing any financial advice or neither legal advice, right? Then we had the Dubai Financial Service Authority that is seeking feedback on a new security token regulation. I was actually quite surprised to see that this morning. And they give the industry 30 days to comment it. Let's see what's going to happen there. We obviously always have China in the news, and the China digital yuan will be back up to Alipay, WeChat, as said the PBOC. In order to support retail payment systems, the central bank has to step up its own digital yuan. And then last but not least, the UK FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, has published today actually a new policy statement that includes crypto company on the list of businesses that are required to submit a financial crime report. So basically, when you're reporting an entity under to the FCA, every year you need to send them a report about financial crime, about everything you have in place to fight it, what you have been observing, and so on and so forth. So no crypto companies are going to be into there. And I guess FCA is going to be very busy because apparently this will jump the reporting entity to 7,000, from 2,000 to 7,000. It's quite a big jump. FCA is already very busy. I don't know how they're going to cope up with that. Let's see. So Shirley and Markus, do you have any opinion on those items? Good, bad, ugly, funny? What do you think?
Yeah, now I know why it's Shirley's favorite, this part. That was massive. Well, I'm absolutely no expert in those topics, but if I hear the news about the India crypto ban, I mean, that sure is ugly. That can't be the solution. And it reminds me of the various gold bans we've had in history. And I'm wondering how they will do it. What do you think, Shirley?
Oh yeah, I've heard about the gold ban. Was it like 1930s?
Yeah, but there was various all over the world, in India as well.
Oh, really? Well, so the government basically forces its citizens to give them their gold, and
yeah, I mean, if you want to flee inflation, you cannot do it anymore because they forbid it.
This can actually happen with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it could be actually happening. I don't think, or at least I don't hope it will be done globally, but there sure be some countries that will try to do that. I mean, as I said, the money printing machine. Yeah, it's going to be inflation everywhere. So what do you do?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how India will enforce the crypto ban, and I think their understanding of crypto is flawed. Maybe there hasn't been enough education. But it will definitely worsen the situation, driving crypto further underground. So as Delphine constantly mentions, if it doesn't happen legitimately, then it will still happen somehow in one way or the other way. But something I'm particularly excited about is the following news. New Zealand fund manager puts 5% of retirement plan assets into Bitcoin. And the fund's chief investment officer stated, if you are happy to invest in gold, you can't really discount Bitcoin. And it reminds me of what I was planning to do, taking out my pension fund in Estonia, which I collected past 15 years maybe. Now I finally have the chance, everybody have the chance to take the second pillar out and invest or do whatever with it. And I actually wanted to put it in Bitcoin. What about you, Delphine, Markus? What would you do?
Well, it seems like it's a bit of a trend. Remember, I think a few weeks ago we were talking about this Israeli pension fund that was also trying to get exposure to Bitcoin, and you were mentioning that In Estonia, I think a pension fund can actually invest in Bitcoin. Well,
Tracker product, yeah.
Yeah, on my side, I do think that it should be a choice, left to the individual. Like for instance, I know that on my side with my UK pension fund, they ask me which kind of strategy I want to have in place. So low risk, medium risk, high risk, and then I can choose which type of product I want them to invest in for me. So I do think it should still be, as Bitcoin is still quite volatile. I would tend to think that decision should be left to the individual, but it would be really good to have it as an option, like with my Swiss pension
Yeah, I'm
fund. I would like
wondering.
to have it that
Yeah, I
way.
wonder, maybe, is it already, or it's not an option even?
I don't know. They never asked me about that.
Check.
I can only talk about my pension fund, and there you don't have any choice at all. So they choose for you. But a part of it, why not? I mean, if you believe in security and investing together, it's a mirage anyway. Just have a look at the latest hedge fund news. So you can never be sure anyway. So if it's a small percentage, why not?
Yeah. All right, so people who joined a bit later after we did the first intro, then we're today joined by Markus Mächler, who is lead cryptocurrency investigator at Zurich Cantonal Police Cybercrime Department. So if anyone has maybe questions about cybercrime to him, then you're welcome to do so now. You can raise your hand, or maybe you just want to weigh in on any topic we covered. We have a raised hand from Michael Seckler. Hi, Michael.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, thanks for
Nice to
organizing
see
this
you.
event. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I have a question, maybe Markus and yourself can answer. Do you know of any scams at the moment that happen on decentralized crypto exchanges? And what are they? How do they try and trick honest customers? That's my question.
I mean, we don't have any recent scams here in the canton of Zurich, but it doesn't mean that they're not out there. I mean, there sure are scams that are trying to pose as legitimate decentralized services. But I mean, if it really is properly programmed and a decentralized service, I don't see how it could be a really good scam, because you would then see it in the code that it's fraudulent from the beginning. But yeah, as I said, services that are trying to impersonate as legitimate services, that would be sure the case. Yeah, maybe Shirley knows something about the.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have DEX yet. We just have decentralized wallet and other products. So, but I see it can happen also on a decentralized exchange. The same way is when a person has a technical issue and they just want to contact the support, and they do it in a public group, not by opening up a ticket. Then they are very easy victims for scammers. The scammers can fake the real representative of the project or of the company, and or someone behind this DEX, and they can easily get their seed phrase or seed phrase to any wallet and have access to the user's funds.
And TeamViewer is your friend.
Yeah. Thanks for the input. The one scam I heard of is the criminals are launching actual tokens, like ERC20 tokens that have not been officially listed by the companies that are actually behind them. So they and then obviously. People transfer things like Ethereum to these tokens that are not the official tokens that are still yet to be published.
So they send them to contract addresses that not belong to the actual contract, the token.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I heard. Anyway, thanks very much for the opportunity. I finished now.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
See you next time. And does anyone else have questions or wants to weigh in? Anyone from the audience or in our room?
Pavel, do you have any question maybe?
Oh, we have one more.
Yeah.
From a hello.
Hi there.
Hi, from Crypto Valley Zug. Well, a
Cool.
bit above Zug. At the
Our
nice
neighbor.
lake of Obereggery, actually. It's a bit nicer. No, joke aside. We're in Switzerland. It's very minor detail. I have a question to Markus, actually. It's something that happened quite big, but it was a short thing and was quickly, addressed again. But I guess it was, I'm not sure if it was Polkadot or Uniswap, while you were trying to go to the site itself on the desktop and then trying to swap, and then suddenly they overlaid actually the same website and many got trapped for some hours or something. I don't know if you heard that. And meanwhile, while you entered there, believing you're on Uniswap, I guess you get where I'm going. How do you deal with that as a specialist? I would say Zurich-based. And how is like the range, just for me as an information, how Switzerland on the police side is organizing, since it is decentralized and we're talking a global language, and yet not, a local one like we had with banks and stuff like that, like those old day scams, which are very modernized in tech today. Sorry.
Yeah, first of all, no problem. First of all, I like the Lake of Obereggery, so very nice. And to your question, it's a good one. Of course, very, very relevant for not just for cryptocurrency crimes, but for cybercrime as a whole. So in Swiss criminal law, usually the jurisdiction is based on where the perpetrator is sitting, but of course, at the beginning of the investigation, you don't know where the criminal is sitting. So, you just take the place of the victim, where it happens to the victim,
and try to reconstruct them the way digitally.
Yeah, okay. If you then investigate the criminals, and let's say they are somewhere in Germany or in the US, then of course you hand it over to those officials there. But as long as you don't know, and it's a Swiss citizen living in the canton of Zurich, then it's our jurisdiction. We can investigate.
Okay, until to a certain point where you figure out somehow it's over the address of Switzerland somehow, and then you hand it over. Okay.
Yeah, but it can take a long time. So for example, if it's just about recovering funds and things like that, we can do that from abroad as well. So, and we did that also a few times already. So.
Okay.
But if it's
really
about the criminals, then
you were successful somehow or sometime.
Yes, and it's usually not in Switzerland, but the funds are usually somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I was really thinking how hard it is. I can just imagine. I'm not a police guy, and especially today in tech, where it's quite easy. I mean, I'm not a programmer, but to understand the framework, it's quite easy actually to run a scam quite quick, especially on unused users. I would say, especially in the crypto area. So that was my part. Thank you, Markus.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for your question. Do we have anyone else in the audience? Nope. Okay. Then thank you so much for joining us, Delphine and Markus. It was very interesting, very insightful.
Shirley, we have someone.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, Mark.
Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for having me on.
Thank you. What is your question?
Markus, I was just wondering, at the start of your talk, you recommended that that people getting into cryptocurrency should have their homework done. And so my question is that how do you know when you have your homework done?
That's a good one. I mean, yeah, you don't really know when it's enough. You just realize when it hasn't been enough later on. But I mean, if you don't have to know and understand the Bitcoin protocol on a protocol level, like on the programming level. But at least like there's, for example, the Certified Bitcoin Professional. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Certified Bitcoin Professional, but it's when I took it, I think that those are basic questions everyone should be able to answer to have a sure footing in the field and isn't such an easy victim. But of course, you just don't know when it's enough. I mean, that's part of the game when you want to be your own bank. So it's your own responsibility then as well.
I think the number one basic rule is not your private key. If you don't hold your private keys, you don't hold your funds. What we all constantly warn our community about is to be aware of people who are impersonating team members, because it's very easy to just copy paste your Telegram profile. They just maybe substitute I with L, so capital I with L or whatever. They do such tricks, so it's very difficult to notice that it's not actually the real user and username. And normally, the real representatives of a project and also we advise people to be aware of scams asking to deposit money on their account, because we constantly have on our socials fake Velas accounts, very easy to copy paste everything from a real account and make an impersonator account. They start commenting under our official posts to people send deposit money to some Bitcoin addresses or Ethereum addresses. And we are like constantly deleting them every day, but it seems like they're bots sometimes, because they just come after deleting, and it's they are like the most hardworking people in crypto, like we like to say, the scammers. And basically these are the guidelines. And basically there is also like option to report if something suspicious, you think something suspicious, like someone is impersonating, you can report it in Telegram, and you can also report it to the real admins. So in specific project, channel or group, each representative has a title next to their name. So you should always check if this user actually has an admin title next to their name. And also, these are the basics.
From a compliance point of view, what I would recommend is actually, first I would read the white paper and look how it is written. You can easily see like the way people are writing. You can see when it's a serious project and when it's like a completely bullshit project. And we look at the team member behind it, make research about that, Google their name, look on LinkedIn if they exist, look if people are talking about them. And that's really basic due diligence, right? And then, look at the veracity of what they're saying. Do you think it's plausible? Do you think they're actually solving a problem? And just Google the name of the project. You'll probably find a lot of information if it's a real project. And generally, you can also check on forums and things like that where people are saying about it. But just names checking, just check the names of the people behind it and read the white paper. I mean, that would be my recommendation. But that's my personal view, right? So
also definitely review exchanges. Don't go to some exchange just because it has maybe a better rate. Like you can use CoinMarketCap to check what are the top exchanges, and these are most probably your safest bet.
Great. Thanks very much. Really enjoyed the talk today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have additional questions or remarks? Nope. Well, you can always contact us on LinkedIn as well. Markus is there, I believe.
Yeah, Markus is there.
All right, then thank you so much. And this is it for today. And for a bigger selection and more in-depth blockchain news, visit velas.com/digest and tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. CET for the Velas Weekly Blockchain Digest here on Clubhouse. And I want to thank my co-host Delphine and today's special guest for joining. My name is Sirli Valge, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Shirley, and thank you, Markus, for joining us today. It was a great episode. I think it was really cool to have you, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too, Delphine, Shirley, and everyone else. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you. Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.